Just a little disclaimer before I start. I don't promote the abuse of wild or domestic animals that relates to this story. But I'll go ahead and get started with it. So this is Swimming Raccoon by Dante Dawson, myself. So my quote is, most of America don't even listen to music probably. They just go raccoon hunting or something. I chose this quote because it pertains to this story, sorta. Raccoon hunting is a sorta popular thing around here. So my question to the audience is, have you ever had a raccoon problem before? Because my family sure has, especially my grandparents before. So before I go really into it, a little background on raccoons. Raccoons, they can cause damages. They get into a lot of things such as trash. They sort of like follow their noses. They use their paws, like fingers, sort of like humans, like us. So they can reach into things, claw things. They can destroy property and like gardens and crops and things like that. And they can carry diseases and that can be dangerous to other animals and pets and even humans. A good example would be rabies. So that's a little bit of background on raccoons. And for this story, a bit of the background on this story would be, and something to add on would be, that raccoons aren't pets. They very much aren't pets in the farm and ranch world. They are pests, and people work to get rid of them because they get into all sorts of things, especially crop yields, crop storage, such as like corn and hay, grains, things like that. And they'll get into that and they'll eat it. So in my story about raccoons, or one particular raccoon especially, is that this raccoon was getting into my grandparents' hay storage, bird seed, and corn. It would get into there and eat it, and especially the hay, because it would get into the hay and it would dig tunnels through the hay. Since raccoons are bigger, it would dig bigger tunnels than the mice would, so it really made an impact because that hay was used to get cattle through the winter. So what my grandfather did was a tactic called catch and release with a live trap. So you catch it and release it somewhere else. But this raccoon would keep coming back because it knew where the food was and it wanted some. So while I was there, my grandfather caught the raccoon. And I remember it was one morning where I got up and I went out, and my grandmother had made breakfast for me. I ate breakfast, and then my grandfather came in, and he said that he had caught the raccoon and he was gonna get rid of it. So I hurried and I went and got dressed, and I rushed out, and he had this long stretch of rope, and he tied it to the top of the live trap, which a live trap is just a cage with a little like pressure plate in it, and he would put cat food in the back. So the raccoon or a small animal would go in, and it would step on the pressure plate, and the trap door would slam close and be trapped inside. So he had the raccoon in a live trap, and he tied the rope to the handle of it, and he took the cage and he put it in the back of his four-wheeler, his four-wheeler basket that he had on the back. I hopped on and we went to a little nearby bridge which had a creek running under it, and we stopped on the bridge, and he took the trap and he slowly lowered it over the edge into the water below, and just held it there for 3 to 5 minutes until the raccoon stopped moving. And I always said that we took a raccoon swimming until it stopped moving, because I was only 3 years old at the time and I didn't know any better, really. But I thought this was the best thing ever, doing this with my grandpa. So I went home and I told my mother about it, and she was all sorts of freaked out. And she went and told my dad, and he was like, yep, they drowned the raccoon. So that's just one way to get rid of a raccoon, I guess. And that's one of the major takeaways of the story. And the fact that I was 3 years old as well. And I did eventually figure out that we did drown the raccoon. But I would still go do it again because I was having fun with my grandfather. And I was really, I got to spend a lot of time with him doing that. So that's the way my grandfather got rid of raccoons. And I was there for this one. And so if you want to look at some of the references I used for this, that's them right there. And that was my story about swimming raccoon. So thank you.